Yeah, that game was pretty challenging because I think all away games are harder than home games. First of all, you don't get the same kind of momentum that you do at home. And so we were chipping away, but just couldn't get over that hump. Um, but we rallied together, and we're still a team. So.
Jenna, how have you been kind of accepting this, maybe a little bit more of an expanded role over the last few games? How have you been embracing that and kind of taking full advantage of it?
Yeah, I think the most important thing for me is just to always stay ready because I don't know when or how long I'll be in there for. So I just always try to do whatever I can to help the team in that moment. And they're always super helpful to me when I go in there, just getting me up to speed on things. And yeah, I enjoy it and I'm happy about it.
Jenna, have you felt the impact of more minutes? I mean, is your conditioning, you're not getting any tireder, it's not impacting your play? You're okay with all the increased minutes?
Yeah, I'm okay. I value being in the best shape that I can be, so that's just another part of staying ready for me.
Jenna's been in shape since day one, I'm trying to tell y'all.
Sarah, how frustrating is this kind of, win one, lose one, kind of this on and off switch that's been going on for y'all for a while here? And how do you kind of snap out of that moving forward?
I mean, it's very frustrating, but I think first and foremost, we got to get a Big 12 its credit. It's a very great league, and, any given night, anybody can be beat. So I think, you got to take the losses and learn from it and figure out what we got to do better next game. And we continue to grow. If we're playing our best basketball right now, we're in trouble then. So I think, these games have allowed us to learn and be ready in March, and we're going to come to compete every night.
Sarah, you guys played a really good non-conference schedule and had a lot of success there. The Big 12 specifically has just been the grind of the conference, teams knowing you guys better. What do you think has been like the overarching maybe reason for some of those struggles?
I think, everybody hits adversity. I think it's just about when. I think, we're kind of hitting it right now. So, I mean, I'd rather hit it now rather than when we get into March and when tournament comes. So, I think, we're learning a lot. And I think, it's giving us the opportunity to see what it feels like to hit adversity. So, when we're going to be on the road, when we play in March, we're going to figure out how to rally against a crowd or wherever we're at. We're going to have to stick together. So, I think it's a very good opportunity for us. And the Big 12 is a great league.
Jenna, obviously, Yaya caught a bad break there. She's hustling at the end of the game with the busted tooth. But I'm just curious, what does it say about her that she was hustling like that in a game that was late like that? And does that kind of fire you up at all to see a teammate, even when they get hurt like that, playing like that?
Yeah, of course. I think we all do a really good job of battling no matter how hard it gets. And Yaya's a perfect example of that. I mean, she's diving on the floor and we're down whatever with not that much time left. Our coaches have helped us and we help each other give our all the time. We just have a lot of heart, and that's not going to change.
And have you had a talk with your dad about which highlights?
Oh my gosh. That was funny. I think it just shows our relationship, and like it's okay to make fun of yourself sometimes.
Sarah, you've been around the block so many times with these different schools in the conference. You pretty well know the tendencies and the styles of every team, but West Virginia coming in tomorrow has a new coach, a new style of play. What are your thoughts on that game tomorrow as far as what you're looking for?
I think first off, going into every game looking back, I think first and foremost, me as a leader, I got to be a better leader on the floor and come to play and have a better game each and every night for us to be successful. I don't think I've been leading the perfect way that I should. So I think, I'm going to be better in that area for this team. But I think West Virginia is a great team, and I think we're a better team because I think we've proven that at the beginning. They're going to press us. They're going to play really hard. They have some great guards. But I think it's about Baylor getting back to playing Baylor basketball, and it starts with our defense. So I think first and foremost, we're going to start on the defensive side, and our offense will come.
Do you struggle with your confidence at all in a stretch like this, or is the confidence always there to shoot?
I mean, the confidence is always there to shoot because of my coaching staff and my teammates. I think, it's about me believing that the next one's going to go in. I think that's been a struggle right now. I think it's hard for anybody when you don't see the ball go in for a while to be like, you're going to believe the next one to go in. But I think it's my job to step up and be a leader every night when the ball's not going in. So I think that's the role that I'm going to have to take on and be a better leader for this team.
We also always want Sarah to shoot the ball. Sarah's a great player. She's a great leader. When she's rolling, we're rolling. And even if she's not making shots, when she's leading us, we're unstoppable.
Do you see yourself at times, Sarah, maybe hesitating, not wanting to take the shot because they haven't gone in?
I think so, and I think, the team tells me, hey, we need you to shoot the ball. I think you've seen in some games, some shots that I may have taken, I passed up because I hadn't seen the ball go in, and I think, that's the wrong way to go about it. So I think I got to continue to shoot the ball and get in the gym, and I'll get out of this slump sooner or later, and we'll get out of this slump, and we'll be okay.
Sarah, when I came to an early practice this year, I remember how much Coach Green was emphasizing to you how you needed to get your feet set.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to get too technical, but do you still think about those things this late in the season? Is he still reminding you? Or talk a little bit about the fundamentals maybe of your game?
Oh, yeah, I think, I'm a great shooter. When I shoot the ball the same way every time, I feel like no matter if it comes off or it goes in, it's a great shot. So I think, I got to continue to get my feet set because my team finds me in the right positions. But I think, I'm going to lock in on it a little more and get my feet set and be ready to shoot.
Sarah, some scores, when the shots aren't falling, they're really out of their game, but you've had a lot of assists and you've contributed in other ways. What has it meant to you to find other ways to contribute even when the shot's not falling?
Because we have such a great team, it's not about me scoring all the time. I can go out there and impact the game in other ways. I think, you saw Jana come in. I passed it to her for a 3 against Kansas State. And that next day I text Jana about how proud I was of her. I think it's about me seeing my other teammates succeed, and I just feed off of that. Like, there's other ways to impact the game other than just scoring.
You want to introduce yourself?
Hey.
This is Hadley. Hadley is Corey, our nutritionist daughter. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Hi, Hadley. How old are you?
How many? 3. That always works. Me too. 33. Nah, 15 years ago.
West Virginia, they lead the league in turnovers forced and second in points allowed. I guess, what's your plan of attack against a team that kind of is good at, forcing what you have recently not been good at?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to give you the full-on game plan. They may watch this press conference. But I'll tell you the goal will be to limit our turnovers. I don't think that the way they play, you're not going to eliminate turnovers. They turn everybody over. Even in their losses, they still turned Iowa State over a lot. They turned Texas over a lot. It's who they are. It's their identity. It's in the most complimentary way. It's a little kamikaze. It's very chaotic. They do a good job of even when you break the press, of running you down and back tapping and playing, stunting in gaps and digging balls out. So it's just a really chaotic system defensively, and they're really good at it. They're really, really athletic. J.J. Quinterly, Kaya Watson is probably one of my favorite players in the league because of just she's a Caitlin Bickle type. She does all the dirty work. She doesn't score the most. She doesn't get the most rebounds, but, she's such a glue player for them. And, Bug's old teammate Jordan Harrison is just like kind of understands their system coming from Stephen F. with Coach Kellogg. So I just think they've really bought into this system, and he's got the personnel to be really, really good at it. So goal will be to limit our turnovers, to be safe with the basketball and try to hopefully attack when we can attack and just, kind of pull it out and play against their half-court D, but just to be in a little bit of protective mode.
Do they stay man-to-man most of the time on half-court, or
No, they're usually make miss. They're usually man on misses. They're usually, kind of a 2-2-1 face guarding all over you press back to their matchup zone. So their zone is kind of a 2-3 matchup. And so, it depends on how good your defense is. Do you get stops? On dead balls, they're usually going to press on, or, half-court dead balls, they're going to play, what's being most effective for them. But they're going to mix it all night long. So we're going to see a mixture of press, matchup, zone, and man.
Nikki, what was your take, looking at the film, what was your take on the BYU game?
I just thought the ball didn't move for us in the first half. I thought we were trying to be aggressive, but maybe not making the best decisions. It wasn't turnovers. It was just quick shots without any rebounders. So, we didn't get any second chance. We had, I want to say we shot 22% in the first half, and we had 2 offensive rebounds. If you're going to miss 80% of your shots, you got to go get them. You really got to do a better job. But we were barely in rebounding position because of how quick our shots were. And then we didn't transition back, and so I thought, the first quarter was the tail of the game. From then on, we won the second, third, and fourth quarters, regardless of whether the second quarter was a low-scoring quarter. And but we didn't create any separation, even though we won them because they were, we won them by a point or 2 points. But we buried ourselves early, really not taking great shots and then, not getting back, and certainly Guston hurt us, but it was the threes. I felt like early, I thought it was Whiting kind of controlling tempo for them all night long.
Coach, when you have 2 months at the start of the season, results-wise, everything goes great, how does the team react now to a month or so where it doesn't?
Well, they're young people, they're resilient. But I certainly think it's easy to feel confident when you're rolling. I think, the first sign of a little adversity, you don't, like when you're used to winning, you don't even allow it to feed your thoughts. So I think it's about, like, I saw a little of us against Houston, and was excited about that. I think we felt good going into that BYU game. I just didn't think we played with a lot of pace up and down in the first half. And I thought almost worse, we didn't play with enough pace sideline to sideline. And so, I think we got to learn from that. I mean, it's the reality is, we've most likely taken ourselves out of position to win a regular season conference championship. But that doesn't mean that, we can't win a conference tournament championship. It doesn't mean we can't be playing our best basketball in March. It doesn't mean we can't make a deep run in the tournament. So do you say, like, one goal is gone that you had going into the season? Yeah. But there's no reason why teams don't get hot at the right time, and I still think this team has a chance to do that. I think this team needs to understand that what made them great was sometimes you, sometimes me, always us concept at the beginning of the season. And so it isn't about how much you score, it's about what the team needs in that moment. And it's really easy to be unselfish when the team's being successful, and to have questions when they're not, and you're not having as much success. But I think, at our core, when we're at our best, it's because the ball has energy, the ball moves, it gets to the most open person. No one's worried too much about whether they get 5 shots or 10 shots, because it's about getting the right shot. And so, I think if we keep that as the goal, I don't think there's, we've got, and I don't look ahead a lot, but what's left in conference play, and we've got West Virginia twice and OU, and those are 3 ranked teams. Maybe one of them is the same team, but ultimately, you've got ranked opponents, 2 of them on the road. We've got rematches against Kansas, and we didn't play well up there. So, like, we have a lot to look forward to. BG's retirement ceremony here, like, there's a lot of, like, great things ahead for us. And so, it's about keeping that positive mindset and trying to get the most, out of this last 6, 7, 8 weeks,
How can you help Sarah, as someone that struggled with her 3-point shot and just kind of get her confidence back?
Yeah, trying to get her to get downhill, ultimately, like, getting to the foul line, I think there's first point of contact, and when she gets first point of contact right now, she's crossing it back and moving it instead of first point of contact, burying her shoulder into them and playing downhill. And so it's seeing it on film. I think that's what you do when your 3-point shot isn't falling. You get to the foul line. And Sarah's more than capable of doing that, and it's not just getting to the foul line, it's just getting downhill, it's putting pressure on the rim. She's the best passer on our team, so if she puts pressure on the rim, she's going to create for her teammates. And I firmly believe when you create for your teammates and they score, your next shot may fall too, because you're playing. You're just kind of out there hooping. And that's what Sarah needs to do. Ultimately, it's at the end of the day, I don't want her to take 9 shots in a game and have 8 of them be threes. Like, I think she's more than, a spot up 3-point shooter. She's more than a step back 3-point shooter. But it takes a commitment to getting downhill, and it's, she has the body type, she has the ball skills, to be able to play downhill against a quote inferior or superior defender. It's about opening their hips and playing through contact. And so, to me, that's the best way to get your shot back is if you get them off you because you beat them downhill, then you're going to have more space to shoot. It's kind of a simple game when it comes down to it. But they crowd her space right now. They just really, really crowd her space.
Nikki, it seems like people want to talk more about offensive inefficiency than defensive inefficiency. It seems to me in the conference losses, there's been a problem with too many points in the paint. Could you address that a little bit?
Yeah, obviously, not having Kyla available, not having Madison available, 2 of our bigger, stronger post defenders has certainly hurt us. I think that's people's game plan. If they have the ability to play through the paint to a post, they're certainly doing that against us. But it's happened in different ways. It's Gustin is 6'1", she's not 6'5". And so it's about leverage. It's about getting to them early. It's about our ball pressure being good enough that we don't allow them to get them the ball where they want it, when they want it. And so I think we've lost some intensity in terms of ball pressure, denial, being in deep help side, not being there in rotations, because baskets happen in the lane because of lack of rotation, as well. We know Asia's going to take a charge. We know Bella's going to take a charge, but we don't know, consistently that anyone else that rotates is going to do that. And if you don't have rim protection in terms of a shot blocker, then you have to do it, with great rotation, great early rotation, great X outs on the backside, scrambling, competing, but I think, against BYU, we let them get downhill against us. We let them get in transition against us. We weren't physical enough on screens. We took ourselves, we say fly out the window. You're trying to make a play defensively and you get in denial. But if you fly through the passing lane, all of a sudden it's 5-on-4. And we did that way too much, so we've got to be more disciplined because you're not wrong. Like, I think early in the season, everyone was talking about, our shooting, our field goal percentage, our assist percentage, all of those things. But we were really getting after people defensively as well. And so, when you aren't making shots, you have to rely more on your defense and vice versa. And I thought, we talked a lot about in the non-conference, certainly the offense was good, but there were games when it wasn't there for us, but the defense was. And I felt like I made a point in those press conferences of saying that's how you have to win. You have to win however the game's being played. And if you're not making shots, you got to get stops. And I thought as we started to score against BYU, we still didn't. We were trading baskets. We couldn't score, stop, score. It was score, get scored on, score, get scored on. I think we were 7 for 12 to start the third quarter, and they were 7 for 10. At the first media timeout. So now we're scoring, we're getting to the offensive glass, we're getting more possessions than them, but we're not stopping them. So it's hard to put a dent in a lead if you don't get stopped. So I think it's definitely two-pronged. I think offensively we got to play with enough pace that we get to good shots. And I think defensively we've got to be better dialed in. We got to be better individually and better collectively.
How is Yaya? Will she play tomorrow? And,
Yes.
How important has her kind of positive energy been coming off the bench?
Yeah, she will play. She's sore. I don't know what they do. I don't know. They glue it in. I don't know how that works. But she's seen a dentist, and they'll see one again. But yeah, she will practice today. She'll play tomorrow. I think. I feel like Yaya was so good for us early, and she went through a bit of a lull in the Big 12 herself, where I think people started to guard her better, and really scout her well. But I think she's kind of pushing through that now. I think she was a real bright light, I thought, in the BYU game because she got downhill. She got downhill. She got to the free throw line. She did make some threes, but ultimately, like, we needed that. We needed somebody, to really put pressure downhill on their defense because we thought it was our advantage. And I thought she really provided a spark that way. So, and she continues to grow at the defensive end. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you, Hadley.